What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Bret on the show. Bret, it's good to have you back on. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Glad to be here.
Yep, this is the 2020 Atlanta Falcons season preview. So a lot to talk about as we get ready for hopefully a full 2020 season. Things are looking bright. I mean, considering some of the conversation about a season might not happen, things are looking really good right now. Would you agree?
Yeah, we're a week away now. There's no preseason, so it is a little weird.
Yeah.
The Lions Bears week 1 coming up here.
Oh man, can't wait for that.
It's then we got week from tonight here. We got the NFL kickoff. So was it Chiefs and Texans, I believe.
Texans, yeah, and the Falcons start out week 1 at home against the Seahawks. So no easy start for them either.
No, that's going to be it's never easy playing Seattle, regardless of if you're in the 12th man or not.
Yeah.
That's not, it's going to be like that here. It's going to be interesting to see how teams come out and rally from the social life that we've all been having to accustom to here recently.
I think they'll come out balling. You see it from the NBA too. Like people are expecting a lot of rust and stuff like that, or disinterest because of lack of fans. The NBA has been very competitive. I expect the NFL to be too.
Yeah, it is going to be a little different with the fan thing again, but like seeing the NBA, seeing baseball, watching games, hockey, they're still able to do it. Obviously, it's a huge impact crowd-wise for football compared to other sports. Not taking away from other sports, but it is going to be a big difference. Being home and away might not
matter as much. Yeah.
Right, and it's I guess with the biggest thing that I saw with baseball was just playing at the fields.
Mm-hmm.
What's the big difference? The field change. I don't see that so much in the NFL, but we'll see what happens here a week from tonight and coming up next Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. That game will be in Atlanta, but I know that they're going to be using fake crowd noise, like Madden crowd noise this year, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, as long as
watching basketball and watching baseball at times from the TV, you forget that there's no fans because of the crowd noise. And, at times you get caught up in the sport that's being played on the field and forget the surroundings. And that's the goal,
Right, that's what you want. It's just to see how it impacts the players here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different year for sure, but I think they'll adapt pretty quickly and we'll have some great football. So let's look at Atlanta. In 2019, they went 7-9 and finished second in the division, the NFC South. They started 1-7, got off to an awful start to the year, but then would finish strong, going 6-2 in the second half of the season and going 7-9 overall. And they missed the playoffs for the second year in a row. What do you look at with Atlanta? You've got Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. They used to have Austin Hooper. Now they got Hayden Hurst, but 2 solid tight ends. What do you think is the biggest issue in Atlanta? Why they've missed the playoffs the last 2 years with what's considered to be a pretty talented roster?
I feel like they have a long hangover
from that 28-3. They hate for me to even bring that up, but
I don't, it's not something that I want to bring up. It's not like a laughing matter at this point. It's just I honestly do feel that they haven't been able to get, bounce back from that. With, like you said, the talent that they have, they should have been in the playoffs the last 2 years. They started off poorly last year, which didn't help. They finished strong. Maybe they can carry that on here into the upcoming season. But I think the Falcons just haven't been able to let go of that. It's not easy, I wouldn't think, to get over, but something that Falcons fans can have to look forward to is the fact that, like you said, that core there, that they have pieces that can make it fit, obviously, as we've seen. So, and with the way that they finished the season last year, they can bring it into the 2020 season.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I think? I agree that big moments like that can haunt a team. You look at the Seattle Seahawks. It took them a long time, and I don't know if they've still gotten over throwing it at the 1 yard line, getting picked off. You know, they should have had back-to-back championships. For Atlanta, you know what I think they haven't gotten over since then? The loss of offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan. Who's a genius play caller, and he's gone on to have success in San Francisco. And Atlanta, you know, they were supposed to be better after replacing Sarkisian, you know, bringing in Dirk Cutter. I think their biggest issue has been injuries, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They've got talent over there. It's just they haven't been able to stay on the field. So we'll see if that turns around here soon. I'm a big fan of who's that linebacker? Deion Jones. Big fan of his. If he can stay on the field, you know, that can be huge for them. But
they've lost a few key pieces to our defense in the offseason, so it's something to take focus on when it comes to the Falcons, because that offense can come out and score. But yeah, you're right. That defense has to, you know, help out the offense there, and I think it's something that they've definitely fallen more defensively over the past couple of years than they have offensively. So I think that's
and they've got good defensive coaches. Dan Quinn is a defensive guy, and Raheem Morris is a solid coordinator. So hopefully it gets turned around. We all know that this is a team that should be making the playoffs. You mentioned their losses. Desmond Trufant, the corner, goes to Detroit. Defensive end Vic Beasley to Tennessee. Linebacker Devondre Campbell to the Cardinals. Defensive end Adrian Claiborne to the Browns. But they did do a pretty good job of replacing them. They bring in Dante Fowler from the Rams. Deion Buchanan from the Giants. Corner Darquez Dennard from the Bengals. Those are some nice pieces, especially Fowler and Dennard. I like both of those guys.
Yeah, Dennard, I've seen a lot of him throughout the years.
Yeah.
College.
Yeah.
It's a piece that they're going to need something there in the secondary, especially losing Trufant. So we'll see, like we mentioned it, it seems like defensively they've taken a hit more since that loss.
Yeah.
If these pieces, maybe they needed some kind of, not necessarily a rebuild, but some kind of jumble, something there to make it a different scheme, to make, to give offenses a different look. I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's going to be a major change right away, but then again, this year's been really crazy. So maybe they can bounce back. They don't have a choice, I don't think. After this year, what's going to happen with those pieces that they have on offense that you mentioned prior. They're not going to be there forever. So, 2020, here after a couple years of the downfall from the Super Bowl loss, now is the time for them to show that, yeah, we should have made the playoffs the last few years. We stumbled. They can build off of the second half of the season from last year.
Absolutely.
2020 and make some noise there in the NFC South.
Yeah, it's all about momentum, and if they can carry that momentum over, that's huge. I like that they're going young in the secondary. They got some good, promising pieces. They took A.J. Terrell out of Clemson in the first round this year. They got Isaiah Oliver in the second round 2 years ago. Kendall Sheffield last year. Jordan Miller last year. Now you bring in a veteran like Darquez Dennard. You could see an uptick in the secondary. You could see some better play. These are very young guys, so
right.
That'd be nice to see. I'm a big Deion Jones fan. Like I said, you bring Dante Fowler into the mix. They drafted Marlon Davidson out of Auburn, defensive tackle, to go with Grady Jarrett. So I like what they're doing there. So they got some promising pieces. And on the defensive side of the ball, looking offensively, they lost tight end Austin Hooper, but they replaced him in a trade with the Ravens, bringing in Hayden Hurst. They bring in running back Todd Gurley from the Rams. We'll see how much he's got left in the tank. But going back to Georgia, where he thrived in college, they're going to welcome him in with open arms. So we'll see if he can tear it up. Laquan Treadwell getting another shot. He's been disappointing in his time in Minnesota, so maybe Matt Ryan can get more out of him. What do you think of how does Todd Gurley fit this offense? I mean, I think that he can step in and be pretty productive.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, Gurley's obviously had some injury issues the last few seasons, but
those knees.
Right. I mean, as a running back, though, you don't expect your expectancy in the league isn't very long, or at least
yeah.
But Gurley still, he's shown signs of still being where he was a couple of years ago. And like you said, they're going to welcome him back there in Atlanta very well. So, with open arms. So let's see if, they could make some kind of whatever makeshift thing that they have to do with Ridley as well in there. And they could show a lot of things to defenses coming out, a lot of different packages that are going to be confusing. But then it's just whether or not Gurley's able to step up and be the Gurley that we've known. If he can get less, maybe less carries, if he's not handling the ball as much, he's not relying on as much, he might be able to bring in more of his usage.
Yeah, and he's very versatile. You can use him in the passing game as well. He's got great hands for a running back. He's an upgrade. Even an injured Gurley, I think, is an upgrade over what Devontae Freeman was bringing. And, he was injured as well.
Right.
And he's still a free agent. We'll see if someone picks him up. But some reason to be optimistic if you're a Falcons fan this year. Players to watch, definitely the continued development of Calvin Ridley. As he becomes more and more a focal point of the offense. Tight end Hayden Hurst, a newcomer. Newcomers, Hurst and Gurley, how they fit in the offense, if they thrive. I don't see any reason why they can't. Ito Smith, continued development. It's number 2 back to Gurley, in my opinion. And then those rookies on the defensive side. So I like what Atlanta's doing. There's definitely reason to be optimistic. What is your prediction on Atlanta record-wise in a tough division? Tampa Bay is now contending. The Saints are as good as they've ever been. Carolina is in a rebuild, so they have to be thinking at least third, but I know Falcon fans are trying to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, after the last few seasons, you're disappointed. It's sometimes, it's years that you're disappointed though. So
yeah,
as fans, it's not instant. And just because you came off of a Super Bowl run, regardless of how it ended, doesn't mean that you're going to be dominant the next season or following for the next several years.
Yeah, the NFL's got so much turnover from year to year. You never know what to expect.
Right. I think, with, like you said, I mean, the Buccaneers are going to be right up there as contenders now, not just for the division, but for. And the Saints are always going to be the Saints. The Panthers, like you said, yeah, they're in a rebuild, but they've got some things going over there as well.
They've still got some talent, yeah.
You will never know, we're not going to know, obviously, until the season plays out, but I think it's hard to say, but I have them in the 7-9 win range.
Yeah.
8-8, I would say.
Yeah.
Just because of how they, have been since this, I know we keep bringing this up, but they haven't proven that, that they haven't got over that yet.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been over that.
They got to prove it to us and the world, yeah.
Right. I mean, this is a team that you look at on paper and, like we said, they should be in the playoffs, but at the same time, with what they've shown, it's hard to just sit there and say that this is a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 8-8 is fair. Sorry.
Maybe 9-7 if things go their way. 10-6 right. if the ball bounces their way. They're right in that range.
It could be 6-7-9 again, 6-10. There's probably going to be a couple games that come down to the end where they should have won or shouldn't have won.
Yeah,
that's the case for every team. But with questions like this, I think it's more fair to put them at the 500 range and under than over.
Yeah, it's how many games come down where they execute and get the win at the end, like that 49ers game last year. where Matt Ryan hit Julio Jones right on the goal line there at the end. A game of inches. And so you got to, come through in the clutch. What's your opinion on Matt Ryan? Has he regressed at all since that Super Bowl run, or is he still just as dangerous as ever?
I'm not going to count him out. I think he's still just as dangerous.
That's a good point.
He's a strong talent, and he's shown us that. And we know that the seasons and wins and losses aren't weight. They shouldn't be weighed on one player, especially the quarterback. So if he has the pieces around him to help him stay off the field a little bit more, or on the field maybe a little bit more, I should say, by his defense getting them, getting off the field, then it should be. I don't see why Matt Ryan should be counted out at all. He has done very well, throughout his career, and hasn't shown any signs of fading away, at least to a major extent. So I think that he's the right leader there. He's been there. He knows the organization, and if they can put the right pieces around him and come together, then I think Matt Ryan has a successful year. But that does not mean that the Falcons altogether, rise above. So,
and I think,
Atlanta fans, just saying that there's a lot to happen here.
No, I agree that I think bringing in Todd Gurley and the continued development of Ito Smith will definitely help, because I feel like they've been a little unbalanced, a little one-sided recently. And that's part of the reason they got rid of Freeman, is that, they've had to throw it so much and everything's on Matt Ryan. And they've got weapons, to get it done. But at some point, you are who you are. So hopefully Gurley brings some more balance to the offense and stays healthy, and the defense stays healthy and all that. I agree with you. My prediction is 7-9 in the 6-9 win range. Like, if things go bad, 6-10. But if things go right, 9-7, sneak into a wild card, and then who knows? So we'll see. It's a big year for the Falcons to prove, they can contend in a tough division, and to prove us talking heads wrong. So I can't wait. It's going to be a hell of a year. Thanks, Bret, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of our review and our preview of the 2020 season. So have a good one, guys, and peace out.